Oh, thank you. Uh, anyway, thanks everybody for participating in the presentation. And also I've got to remember those viewing it afterward via YouTube. And particularly if we have anybody joining in either now or on the YouTube presentation from outside of BC, I'd certainly like to acknowledge you as well. So I've got a few graphics and some video links that I was going to attempt to utilize here. So let me see if I can bring up the first of the graphics. Got my house phone ringing in the background here. Anyway, the topic is the image of our dance forms, and we're going to address both how they've been perceived by the public and what we can do to create attractive images. By the way, our BC Square and Round Dance Federation embraces square, round, clog, and contra dance, and also other related dance forms like line dancing. So I intend to explore the public image of each at this point. The public image of your product or service is really a huge factor when you want to sell it to prospective customers. In our activity, those customers are new dancer prospects. So this exercise is especially important as we plan to attract what's surely going to be a socially starved post-pandemic public. And the fact is we've got an ideal social recreation for them to get into. I noticed when Mike Hogan was talking, he gave a rundown on who the heck he is. Sometimes I assume everybody knows what my background is. I've got a diploma of technology, broadcast communications, earned at BCIT, trained in professional fundraising management. I reached certificate status, but didn't apply for my certificate because I decided to stay in the broadcast industry. So overall, 40 years of experience in commercial broadcast TV at Kelowna, BC. My goodness, I directed newscast programs, produced, directed community parade telecasts. That was really fascinating. Producing station promotions, and I actually managed the promotion department for 5 years. And a big part of it was supervising the master control operation. Thank goodness I retired in 2010. Oh yes, I recognize that guy. So to give you an idea of my enjoyment of square and round dancing, I've done it since I was a preteen and teen in Burnaby, competing at one point at the annual Pacific Northwest Teen Square Dance Festival. In Kelowna, I square and round dance with the West Side Squares Dance Club. They're located in West Kelowna, and I've done that since 1971. Just got my little bar for my badge, recognizing me as a 50-year member. I've certainly assisted in many ways, including a longtime square dance caller teacher who taught at various schools. And when he closed that down, I took that over. So I'm now presenting the program on my own, often teaching all the grades, K to 6. Certainly I've volunteered in many dance-related activities, especially promotion and marketing related. And it was all in advancement of square and round dancing. I guess the notable thing is I'm heading up Square Up BC for the Federation. Some people don't know what the task is at Square Up BC. So it's basically a marketing initiative of the Federation. We started it in 1991. I've chaired it since then. The goals are to improve awareness and public image of our dance forms, take advantage of BC Federation events such as festivals, and those present great public awareness opportunities. And we did quite the number, including paid radio advertising when the festival was in Salmon Arm in recent years. The other task is to launch publicity, promotion, paid advertising campaigns in advance of various in advancement of various dance forms. Also to assist member clubs with consideration, and people will remember this who saw Mike Hogan's presentations. You've got to consider the 4 marketing elements, and those were the 4 P's of product, place, price, and promotion. And particularly with regard to the promotion component, I've helped clubs with writing press releases, and we've seen some great successes there, placing community calendar announcements. Those are the little freebies that tell about your upcoming event, and the use of social media such as Twitter and Facebook. In fact, I maintain the Federation Twitter and Facebook pages. Okay, hi again. It's important that I tell you what motivates. I really think this is important. We're talking about image, but what the heck motivates me to assist in the advancement of our recreation? I'm driven not just by the fun, but by the joy. I've witnessed loads of joy on the faces of many dancers over the years, and I've seen it in the different dance forms. It's not just square dancing I'm speaking of. Now, speaking of a public image for our recreation, showing joy on our dance floors can be a strong influencer. Just one still picture that depicts that can be powerful. Also, the genuine laughter on the dance floor really motivates me to encourage more opportunities to laugh. I suspect that for some dancers attending weekly sessions, it's perhaps their only moment of laughter during their week. So that's really an important element in my mind. I wanted to introduce you to a fellow we've unfortunately lost in recent times, David Sim. Why I wanted to bring David up is, again, we're talking about image, we're talking about fun, we're talking about joy, and as a dancer, a BC dancer, Dave really enjoyed himself. Unfortunately, he passed away in February from ALS at only age 64, but he and his wife Sharon danced all over and especially enjoyed dancing as snowbirds in the southern US. So Sharon said that they danced to some of the best callers in the world, meeting lots of great friends along the way, and she related that to Dave, square dancing was pure joy. Indeed, he often exclaimed, "Life doesn't get any better than that." I just think that is wonderful, everybody, to have had a dancer in our midst that had that angle about his dance participation. Okay. Obviously, in the eyes of Dave, and indeed there was another woman from Powell River who, just briefly, she noted on a Facebook comment section under an ad for the Stardusters lessons up in Powell River, she thought it was absolutely fantastic. She said, "No corny music. I had such a great time. In fact, my face hurt from laughing so much." That's what fires me up, to hear people speak in that manner. I wanted to take a look at the activities image in the public eye from a more professional level. And for that, we can certainly turn to Calder Lab's marketing manual. All these clicks you have to do to bring this stuff up here. So Calder Lab concluded in the manual 2 key sections about image and about, I think it was awareness. Yeah. And on image, I mean, you can read for yourself, but the only official research on the image of square dancing was conducted by StarWorks in 2000. We brought the one of the lead, either the lead or one of the researchers, Jim Hensley, to Abbotsford in 2005 for our festival, and Jim reiterated what the results were from this study that came out in 2000. And, you know, square dance has got an image problem. CS is out of date, country oriented for hicks and hillbillies, using old fashioned music, patronized by senior citizens. I don't know that some of you need to hear this because I think we have an idea, but also mentioned was the fluffy dresses with big hair, big belts, and RVs. Well, I don't have one of those, but it'd be nice. Most people say they're familiar with square dancing, but their familiarity is with traditional, the older style, not with modern Western dancing, Western square dancing. By the way, just a quick aside, I don't particularly like modern Western square dancing. Modern, for one, is an aged word now that has kind of lost its meaning. And Western ties us once again into what we're trying to get away from, the, you know, the separation from the barn dance. Anyway, as a result, the image in the minds of those individuals surveyed was really influenced by traditional square dancing. It doesn't reflect the realities of the modern dance. The other part that was in the Colorado Lab manual was awareness. I'm sorry, folks, this lettering I find is just a bit hard to read over that image, but again, the only official research on the public awareness of our activity was again conducted by StarWorks in 2000. The process was 3 focus groups. They were centered in Charlotte, North Carolina, St. Louis, Missouri, and Portland, Oregon. And the participants, this was key at the time, except these people are now 20 years older. The key was baby boomers. At that time, primarily between 35 and 55. So the summary statement from StarWorks was that modern Western square dancing does not have a high profile, even in cities where there is an active dance community. Non-dancers in those cities do not know about the dance activity in their city, nor would they know how to get in touch with a program if they wanted to. A few had seen any notices about dance classes or knew where it was done. Several claimed that square dancing was a rural activity, not done in an urban environment where people have many alternatives for entertainment. Yeah, I sure understand that. As a result, people who might be enticed into square dancing have no idea where to get involved. I'm trying to kill that image. I don't, there's so much to this, you know, folks, but over time, for instance, movies and the media have sometimes used the square dance as a punching bag. That didn't help at all with regard to a good image for our activity. And even Bugs Bunny cartoons depicted square dancing in a poor light. The problem with that was the enduring popularity of the cartoon, even up to this day. People remember the imagery. It was in 1950 that Warner Brothers cartoonists created a 3.5-minute segment called Hillbilly Hair. Of course, after its debut, it was viewed over the years in reruns of the popular cartoon show. Now through social media vehicles such as YouTube, it still lives on. Now the same cartoon's been renamed the Hillbilly Rabbit. I think it's because people today don't know what a hare is, but it's now the Hillbilly Rabbit, same cartoon. And this is what's notable. It was posted to the Warner Brothers Kids YouTube channel in May of last year. I was looking, and so far the revived Hillbilly Rabbit has had close to 300,000 views, and the Warner Brothers Kids channel on YouTube has close to 17 million subscribers. I want, in a moment, I want to relate a personal experience with a school teacher who let the cartoon's imagery affect his judgment relative to his students. But first, I'd like to show the cartoon because this kind of says it's all and shows us how why it's been so impressionable on people. Let's see, folks, if we can get this to activate here.
While you're setting that up, I wanted to make a comment here. We've been talking about square dancing, you know, our image of square dancers, but how many people actually know there is a clogging club or contour club in their city or in their region? You know, yeah, Barb does. Yeah. And Lyle does, but that's just it. I mean, it's just like how many people actually know what exists for our dance forms. Go ahead, Brian. I'm blah blah.
Oh, I appreciate that, and certainly I wanted this time together to address the different dance forms, and I really appreciate Barb coming on the system here, because I think clogging's fantastic, and it deserves a good shot, especially given the promise of a huge interest following the pandemic. So let me see here. I think I've got Hillbilly Rabbit, formerly Hillbilly Hare, queued up here. Okay.